Hello everybody, here we are today talking about the Nashville Predators, their recent stretch of play and whether or not it will matter come playoff time. So before we get started into that, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So I think it's safe to assume for fans of whatever sport you're a fan of that you would imagine towards the end of the regular season, teams that have been better over the course of the regular season are likely to be the hotter sides as they enter the playoffs or get near to the playoffs. And the logic kind of makes sense. You could see sides competing for their division, maybe for the top spot in their conference, or if they're really lucky, like in the NHL's case, competing for the President's Trophy. However, we're at this point where the hottest team in the NHL at the moment is the Nashville Predators. Now, I know some of you will be looking at me and saying the Colorado Avalanche have a 7-game winning streak. That is the longest in the NHL at the moment, whereas the Predators sit at 4. How is that the case? Well, it's the case because of the fact they have a 16-game point streak and are 14-0-2 in that time, the best points percentage in the NHL since the middle of February, and are a team that have seen their playoff odds surge so much since their 9-2 loss to the Dallas Stars on February 15th, which has sparked a lot of talk about what this team can do come playoff time. So we're going to be taking a look at some takeaways that I've had during the 16-game run, and then talk about, does it even matter when this thing's all said and done? So the first thing we get to talk about is 5-on-5 play. This is something where Nashville has seen a lot of success. When you look at things like shots for percentage, they are third best in the league during this run, as well as first in shots for per 60, meaning they're putting a lot of pucks on net. That's a good thing. On top of that, too, they have the second highest expected goals for percentage during this period and the highest scoring chances for percentage. They've outscored teams 49-19 during this period, a plus 30 goal differential, and are a side that is best in the marks for this goals for percentage. Just a team that is very happy, probably grinning from ear to ear about how things have gone at 5-on-5 play. Roman Yossi's had good numbers, but I did want to highlight Tommy Novak as well as Luke Evangelista. They've had some really good underlying numbers. Maybe things don't look crazy impressive with the points, but you're seeing them there. Gustav Nyquist has 12 points during this run, and he looks to be set on pace for 70 plus points for the first time in his career, and this is just 12 points at 5-on-5 play. So full strength has been kind of the Predators, and the Predators have been mauling the competition during this run. Now we get to talk about special teams, and the power play is a bit interesting. It has been able to click successfully 23.4% of the time, not a bad percentage by any means, and is an improvement compared to what they had seen prior to the 16-game run. Now, looking at Philip Forsberg, he has been the leading power play goal scorer for the team with 5 during this period. Forsberg is a little bit interesting to me because of the fact that he just has some up and down seasons, but this year seems to be an up as he is set to hit a 40-plus goal season for the second time in 3 campaigns. Like I said, I really think it's weird how you can have a guy that can score less than 20 goals, go up to 42, less than 20 goals, and then again with 40. But it doesn't matter if you're looking at it where you're in the season where things are going well. I'm hoping that he can continue to provide goals, especially on the man advantage for this team. Come playoff time, he likes to take a lot of shots. And out of everybody on this roster, you probably expect him the most to be able to provide those goals. The man advantage has not seen great underlying numbers at this point, but if they're able to keep the percentage high, regardless of the poor underlying numbers, you could care less. They could be 32nd across the board, but as long as you're hitting 20% or above, you probably have a smile ear to ear. And when guys are in the box, things have gone relatively well too, as they have a successful PK percentage of 82.1%, which would be 6th best in the NHL over the entirety of an NHL season from what we've seen out of all these games. That is very good. They've had good underlying numbers. And this is a team that's been backed up with some good net mining. Looking at their PK save percentage, it's .875, which has been good during this run. And speaking of goalies, Juuse Saros has had an incredible run in general. Looking at his past 12 games that he's played in during this period, 10-0-2 record and a .932 save percentage. On top of that, too, out of the 12 games, he's allowed 2 goals or less in 10 of them. So him not being traded is a good thing, because had they traded him away and he played well, they would have been like, man, that's frustrating, because we're probably not in the situation we're in where we're able to be in the playoffs. And then 2, had they kept him and he played poorly, they would have said, good grief, it would have been nice to get some assets. Instead, you get the best situation possible if you're a fan of the team hoping to make the playoffs. Saros is having a great run and has, again, contributed to this team being where they're at. Good 5-on-5 numbers. The power play's clicking, even though the underlying numbers aren't looking great. And the PK has had mutually beneficial things where the goalies have been able to produce, as well as the defenders not really putting them in a bad spot. Saros, 10 wins out of 12 games. You can't complain about that. As for whether or not this run will matter come playoff time, I think in some camps or in some sides they would say yes, and I could kind of see the logic here. Being able to rattle off this many wins in this period and have good results in a lot of areas is going to be something that A, gives you confidence, but B, just allows you to kind of keep the ball rolling in terms of keeping the success going on. You want to be able to say, hey, we know we can get on a run, we know that we can dominate some teams, and we can be able to take advantage of that. On top of that, too, they have a relatively easy schedule to finish off the year. They've got games against San Jose, Columbus, Chicago, and are a team that could finish the year out hot, as they have been really good over these past 16 games clearly. But let's say that while they do lose some games in regulation during this run, maybe they're in contention to crack the 100-point mark by the end of the year. It's going to be hard to do, but if they did it, it'd be the first time that they've done so since 2019. And if you're on the side that it does make a difference, being a team that knows you can go on a run and is hot coming into the playoffs really could be a situation where you think upsets could happen, especially early on in the postseason. On the flip side, I would argue that there's not really a whole lot to gain from having a hot finish to the year in terms of actual positioning. Looking at what the division looks like in the Central especially, they are a team that is probably going to be a wild card spot. The top three in the division are kind of cemented there, and unless Nashville went really, really hot to finish out the year, I don't think they'd be able to catch up to them. However, it kind of is just a deal where I think either way you'd want them to go into the playoffs with a bit of a good run going for them. And I think for this side, they are looking for good vibes and just a good run as they try to get into the playoffs and actually do something. This is a team that since 2018 has not been able to do much. They last won a playoff series again in 2018. Since then, they've been knocked out either in the qualifying round or the first round, and that's just not really something that you're too excited about. So this is just kind of my video recapping what we've seen with the Predators and whether or not it matters. I think I'm leaning towards this camp that it does matter, and for the Predators fan base, I think if you're hoping more for a playoff appearance, Barry Trotz has been able to kind of keep the team culture and the fan base's mindset centered around this, because as a team that over the past 10 years has regularly made the playoffs. Now, are they going to be a side that, again, is not really going to be able to do anything like some of these sides did early on? I don't know. I think that there is a little bit of a dangerous aspect with this team. They have some younger guys that I'm hoping can step up, as they have a relatively young roster compared to average age with some other teams, and they have somebody like Saros that is a little bit hot. The 5-on-5, great. The PK, obviously looking at things like that there. But if they get cold on the power play, when you're an underdog, that's just not something that spells good recipe for the postseason and getting on a bit of a heater. So anyway, what are your thoughts for the Nashville Predators over these past 16 games? Let me know down below in the comments. I'll be putting out a video tomorrow. I'm not really sure what video it's going to be, so that will be get out 5 videos for the week. I've done that every week of the year so far. It's kind of a cold and rainy day, so I might just take notes here instead of getting my dog out for a walk, because I don't really want him to get wet and I don't want to be out in the cold. But anyway, we're done with this. Please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go love hockey all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.